Sammy Lustberg just out of her reach for the speedy left midfielder and co-captain. So Jericho at least a promising start to this second half. Meanwhile, if you're new Hyde Park coach Kim Teamsma, Gary, it could not have gone any better except for one little mistake on a strength shown by Lucy Peters inside just to generate the scoring chance. But they've been a team that's had peaks and valleys even in their matches.
Well, that was her concern when we spoke with her. You know, they've had lapses in the game, and you can't afford to have any defensive lapse. Like right here, you can't back up.
Chesler gets the shot, and it is the great start for Jericho. The freshman Caitlin Chesler off the chest to lay it down, and a great finish.
Well, that's exactly what, Coach Teamsma was really concerned about. There is a defensive lapse. You can't give Chesler, an attacking player, the room to be able to turn, face the goal, and have no one look to close that space. And she takes a nice shot. She puts it just off the post. Petrello's not able to get over there. And they've accomplished what I would think Coach Bresnik would have liked, getting a goal within the first 10 to 15 minutes of play. Now it's a one-goal game. A lot of time. This is anybody's game right now. And the momentum has got to be taken back by New Hyde Park. They lost the momentum at the very end of the first half, and it has been taken into the second half by Jericho.
Caitlin Chesler's second goal, and smiles on the bench now on the Jayhawks end. Chesler's second, and she is a travel soccer player with Albertson, but plays defense there in the preseason. Lonnie Bresnik quickly moved her over to play up top. Played away from Pappas by Samantha Pinto. And Milana ahead, looking for Peters.
Unfortunately for Jericho right now, Peters is the only player that they have up top. So she is going to be taking on 2 and 3 players by herself. She's got to get more support in the offensive half of the field.
And Carrie, we get confirmation by our tremendous staff that it is Peters that gets the assist, who had that nice service to Caitlin Chesler to bring it down. As we get an inadvertent handball, so Jericho will have it back. For the Jayhawks, 2 quick goals. The Chesler goal in the 43rd. Have 17 on the season into their 7th match. Jacqueline DeLuca. And Pinto looking for Peters and runs out of room. And that could be a potential major confidence booster too for the Jayhawks. Lucy Peters came in as their leading scorer with 6 goals and an assist. And one of the things they'd love to get more of is just more balance in terms of productivity. Silverman. Chesler, and looked to go outside. She had Boosum, the right midfielder, and the good takeaway here by Tiffany Vellen.
But you can see Jericho is playing with a lot more energy right now, Ralph. They've come out much stronger after that second goal. They're putting on a little bit more pressure. They're not sitting back as much as they had in the first half of play.
Vellen made the good run. Follow up from Griffin. Into some space, Aronoff. And Jericho does well to avoid the deep offensive end throw-in. So a much different look to the second half than we did for nearly 40 full minutes in the first. Griffin approaching, hard challenge there from Pinto. And it comes out to Peters.
Samantha Pinto is a feisty little player. She's a real aggressive player. She comes across, she's not afraid to use the body with the player.
And who does that remind you of, Carrie? Samantha Pinto's older brother, AJ, class of 2016, now playing at Malloy College, Division II. He was an all-county player, Carrie, that you and I saw. He was a 3-year starter there. We saw him a lot. He had 4 goals, 7 assists last year in his senior year as New Hyde Park brings in Versito Busos, a sophomore, either backup midfielder or forward. Looks like she comes in an outside midfield spot, but as Lonnie Bresnick described, Samantha very much in the style of her brother, like a pit bull on the soccer field.
Well, she plays hard, plays aggressive. I like the way she attacks the ball.
That's Aronoff shooting from distance, and Fishman does not allow Busos to have a sniff at that rebound.
Not handled as cleanly as I would have liked her to, and I think, has to use a little bit more discretion. That ball clearly was going to go out of bounds. Why look to play it? There was not a dangerous player from New Hyde Park around. Get the goal kick rather than look to handle it and maybe give up something in the box.
Chesler with room. Busum trying to get onto it, and Busum will. Now the service handled by Mosseri, and out as Jericho is able to switch the point of attack.
Good work by Busum to get herself out wide, to be able to get her foot on that ball, to be able to serve it into the box. Jericho has to get players now crashing that box area when they attack that width.
Out of play from DeLuca. So whatever Coach Bresnick said, he's been at this, Carrie, as we said, a long time, pushing 44 years of coaching, and he has seen, I'm sure, a lot of different games within one game, as here comes Fishman out just ahead of Pappas, with Pinto being in the way.
And Fishman handled that one nicely, coming off her line and being able to handle that one without giving up any possible rebound. I like the way she handled that one.
Caitlin Krems looked ahead. Krems, good look. Aronoff, a chance to motor ahead. Looking to lay it off, and Pappas had stopped her run for a moment.
That was very unselfish by Julia. She was attacking the defender and then looked to slide it. I think if she kept that ball on the ground, it might have been a little bit easier for Pappas to make that run rather than getting the ball up in the air.
New Hyde Park has been able to level the game a bit since the second Jericho goal. And this time Aronoff too aggressive there with Ariel Nakinant. And Nakinant, very aggressive player that's played better here in the second half. It rolls onto the feet of Sabrina Milana.
When Sabrina Milana received that ball, Ralph, she had no one in the width area to play a square ball to, so she was forced to play it forward and into the feet of one of her teammates that was being defended very closely. She needs to get more support on the flank areas. They've got to come back. Jericho flank midfielders have to come back and help in the center of the field.
Aronoff took it away, and now as Pinto defends against her, hard challenge, and she'll be called for the foul, and that's been a very good individual matchup to see those talented players going up against one another.
Yes, it has been. They're both physical, and you see the nice effort there by Pappas out on the width. Or Aronoff out on the width there, being taken down by Pinto.
Griffin's been dangerous on restarts.
Back post.
Loose ball, trying to tee it up, Ward, and Ward does! Logan Ward able to settle a bouncing ball. New Hyde Park has the response.
They have been dangerous on those dead ball restarts at the back post all afternoon, Ralph. This one came to the foot of Ward, but there was no defender. Look how much room and how much time and space she gets on the back post. There's the ball coming in, and the defender was a step behind, and that allows Ward to be able to get her right foot on it, and she places it beautifully. You know, you try and tell players, shoot the ball for the side netting. That's where you want good players to place the ball, and that's exactly where Logan Ward put that one.
Tremendous finish. Logan Ward extending there. Goal comes in the 52nd minute from her best friend, Mackenzie Griffin, as Kim Teamsma described it. They walk, talk, and sound alike. They love this sport. They read each other really well playing in the midfield. Even on restarts, they somehow find a connection.
Now that may have taken a little bit of the wind out of the sails of Jericho. We'll have to see how they respond now to giving up that goal. After drawing within one, they fought back from 3 down to 1 down. Now they're back to being 2 down.
And remember, it was Julia Aronoff that created that with the takeaway at midfield and drawing the foul. Griffin getting the assist in the 52nd minute. And this game still feels like it has a lot more scoring chances left in it.
I think you're right. I think both teams have the potential to be able to put something else up on the board. And certainly, if you're going to give New Hyde Park dead ball restarts in your offensive third, those are going to always be trouble, I think, for the Jericho defenders.
Peters, a good layoff. Nice extra ball. Silverman shooting for the goal, and it's saved away, parried away by Petriello. Fantastic save made by the New Hyde Park keeper, Rebecca Silverman, had that ball ticketed into the upper 90.
And Samantha Petrello does an excellent job. She gets her body up. She extends herself to the very nth degree to be able to parry that one away. There's a nice shot. Watch Petrello get up, and she stretches out just to get her fingertips on the ball. No one from Jericho there to follow it, but what a nice shot and a great save.
Samantha, very dedicated to this sport, goes 5'8". That's her first stop, and she's had to pay attention. Came off with 9 saves against Wheatley, keeping them in that match. Her first year as a starter. And what a look by Silverman. A lot of afternoons, that's a goal in most levels of high school girls soccer. Jericho again, Nakanant.
Well, if Petrello was about an inch smaller, that would have been a goal. But she's not going to get the fingertips on it.
Good knockdown by DeLuca. Pass by Chesler. And coming back here to check back is Pappas.
Pappas really just beat the midfielder to the ball to win the possession, checking back.
Officials will say that Julia Aronoff took the ball across. So Jericho will regather. What a save that lines up being. We could have been back to a 1-goal deficit with so much time left.
I think it's important for New Hyde Park to play the way they played in the first half and play for success with the ball at their feet, and not just to get caught up now that they're back up by 2 to play too defensive and just look to hit the ball long. What got them the success was playing the ball to feet and playing wide. And hopefully that Coach Teamsma said to them at halftime, continue to play the way we played in the first half.
It's been a building project for Coach Kim Teamsma out of the New Hyde Park class of 2000. The greatest team in New Hyde Park history she was a part of. In 1999, they won their only Nassau and Long Island championship. That was Class B in 1999. Under the coach that started this program, Jim Magyar, he retired following the 06 season after 22 years, program starting in 85. And when you think of Nassau girls soccer, especially in this classification, it's been Garden City and Southside carry only. And you think back, our tremendous graphics man, at least on occasion, Joe Giannotti pointing out, the last non-Class A champion, or at the smaller school level in Nassau County, besides Garden City's south side, was New Hyde Park. You have to go back that far. So they do have that history. They
have been there.
And they have the tremendous soccer club and the New Hyde Park Wildcats. So it is a program that appears like it can restart itself and become what it was on a perennial basis.
And that would really be a feather in the cap for the New Hyde Park Wildcats program.
That program's been around 39 years, so I'm not sure how long the Rockville Center Soccer Club has been around, but I'm sure it's probably around the same time. So that one gets a lot of the attention, and now with the programs like Albertson and East Meadow Soccer Club, but within a town community, New Hyde Park has been very successful. As a ball laid ahead, Pinto will chase down. So can this group restart New Hyde Park soccer in the next couple of seasons again?
Well, clearly it's a youth program that right now on the field. There are a lot of underclassmen, freshmen, sophomores that are capable of taking this to another level.
They look ahead for Peters and Mosseri, who is one of those young players, just a sophomore, plays it out. The Gladiators' most recent great teams, you point back to at least a good finish in 2011, reaching the quarters. They do have 10 seniors this year, but the majority of their starters are in that junior and sophomore class. That Triello, we'll see that go
That's
out.
a very good point. I mean, they'll have 10 seniors, but only 3 are starting. You know, so there may be those 10 on the team, but 3 are the only on the field right now, and the rest are all underclassmen. So you've got 8 returning players next year, many of which are all class, all county, all conference.
That New Hyde Park Wildcats program that Kim Teamsma herself came up through. It's a volunteer-run organization, and even in that sense, you start to see how youth soccer has become such big money among the big club programs there. There aren't as many of the kind of Wildcats programs around that dads in the community, etc., volunteer their time, and it becomes a well-oiled machine the way they've had it for 40 years.
You're right. And, you know, the fact that they've been around as long as they have been and that they have experienced success, I think really bodes well, because there is some tradition for these young girls to look to.
Aronoff and Pappas let it go through. Can Ward or Griffin get onto it? And Griffin is the one offsides. Ward was in a good position.
Right, and the two of them were together in the same space, and that really posed the problem. If only one of them was there, you might have been able to allow the second one to run onto that ball. But clearly it was a good call by the official. Griffin was, in fact, in that offsides.
Number 3 against the Gladiators. In the Wildcats soccer program in town, they offer programs that begin as early as the age of 3, going up until a U19 team. So it is a widespread organization that the structure is there in place for this program, and as well as on the boys' side for New Hyde Park, to ascend to those kinds of county championship contending heights again. Good ball laid ahead by Griffin for Vellin, and Callensrud, who's one of the top athletes on the field, beats her to it to allow Fishman to cover.
And Fishman came out well again. She's done that now for the last 2 opportunities that were sent her way. Come off her line nicely and handled it well.
Corrigan.
Nice
Griffin.
run. See Griffin coming out of the central part of the field. She's the offensive midfielder. She comes wide, and she gives them that width that they so desperately need to be able to attack.
New Hyde Park at 2-1-1, hosting the Jericho Jayhawks in at 4-1-1. Nassau County High School Girls Soccer today on Verizon Fios One Sports. All season long, Aronoff shooting from deep.
And I like the decision by Julia to take that shot out wide, out high. You know, what sets it up is you watch a little step over move right there. That's what really gives her the opportunity to turn, face the goal, and take that shot. Nice move by Julia Aronoff, the sophomore, to put that one as a shot.
15-4 for New Hyde Park. Remember, it was 12-0 before that final pair of shots for Jericho at the end of the first half. The Peters look that got Callensrud the rebound. And look ahead for Peters. Lugo keeps it away from her. Chesler had the second Jericho goal. New Hyde Park will gather it again.
Chesler really worked hard on that, looking to track down the ball and offering some pressure on the defenders. Ran totally across the entire field.
Griffin challenges, hard challenge there by Sammy Lustberg, but they'll get Griffin as the second person in.
Good call. Again, there's a nice physical battle there for that loose ball, and you know that you've got to win that ball in the midfield. Nice possession, getting the 1-2.
The return from Pappas. And Aronoff wasn't quite expecting it there, had slowed a bit. Jericho still with 18 minutes to go. For New Hyde Park, meanwhile, this is already the third time in 5 games that they've gone 4 goals or more.
Now, it seemed that earlier in talking to Coach Teamsma that she was a little concerned about finishing. But in the meantime, as you've just pointed out, they've had some good matches where they've put points up on the board. In 3 games now, they've scored 13 goals, so that's not too shabby.
They were shut out by Oceanside. As she said, final score there 3-0, but they played pretty well as a team against Oceanside that could finish somewhere in the top 4 among the big schools in AA. Sitting in that next tier behind Massapequa as Lustberg. Good cross there to Chesler. Callensrud and DeLuca didn't step up quite enough, so Pappas, who's got a pair today for New Hyde Park.
There was some nice possession there by Jericho. They moved the ball well among themselves. They had good possession in through the midfield area and then just lost it when they looked to get it out to the flank.
Callensrud looking to touch it off of Vellin, and the officials will point in the New Hyde Park direction. Olivia Lugo, see their junior stopper, missed a couple of matches early. Finally, Logan Ward. Jericho has maintained this 3-5-2 alignment with the right back Erica Seton, on the left Ariel Nakanant, with Samantha Pinto, the center back. Lugo again, good takeaway from Chesler. And she's the stopper that plays in front of Mosseri in her first year in the varsity that's done well. And Aronoff trying to just sneak by Erica Seton, who bothered her run enough.
And Pinto coming across right at the very right time to be able to knock that ball out of bounds and let the defense get reset. That was important because Aronoff, she was in. If they were able to get it past Pinto, Aronoff would have been in on goal.
Lustberg, and the good tracking back by Krems. And Ward a chance to run, and she has room. Plenty of space for Logan Ward as she holds it up. And that'll take us under 15 minutes remaining.
I think she was expecting Krems to be a little higher. Krems got in pretty deep into the attacking third, and I think that Ward was expecting her to be a little bit higher for that square ball.
Pinto to go get this. Vellin quickly on the approach, and Vellin may have forced that turnover. just her effort to not give up on the play.
Exactly correct. Velen does a nice job. She puts a little bit of pressure on Pinto and forces Pinto to play that ball out of bounds and give away a throw-in deep in their offensive territory.
Now it may lead to a cross, but this time Jessica Busum is in position. Busum, a three-sport athlete, varsity basketball and lacrosse at Jericho. Asked Chesler to take on a defender, could not. And our officials looking at one another and confirm. Bob Sorosky, Joe Scarnato getting a little workout today.
Krem is wide open on this near touchline, and if they are able to find her, she'll have a nice little open road into the goal. Lustberg has got to track with her. Lustberg is nowhere near Krem. If New Hyde Park looks to change the ball, change the point of attack, and come to this near sideline, there's going to be a lot of space for Krem to attack.
It's been 4-2 New Hyde Park since the 52nd minute, after a 3-1 New Hyde Park first half. Callensrud and took that ball out of bounds. Neither team has subbed a whole lot today. Jericho coach Lonnie Bresnik, as we detailed, they're missing 2 starters, so he admittedly normally doesn't play a deep lineup as it is. Mosseri, good battle with Peters, and she does well just to have very good body position against a talented striker. Aronoff under pressure by Lustberg.
Look at how far back Aronoff has come, Ralph. All the way from up top, she tracks all the way back into the defensive third of the field and was able to win and hold the possession of the ball.
Pinto, even further of a step up. Velen back inside Griffin. Want to make that Ward.
And again,